This is my favorite Lost in Space episode of all time. So Lost in Space was a sci-fi show that ran from 1965 to 1968. It's a little similar to the original Star Trek, but it actually predates Star Trek by about a year. So it's pretty much like Star Trek saw Lost in Space and was like, okay, we're going to lose the giant robot and the monkey, but we'll keep the miniskirts and the roguishly good-looking men in uniforms. Actually, let's keep the monkey, but we'll make him human and call it Spock. Lost in Space takes place in the mystical and futuristic year of 1997. The series features the Robinson family, who are space voyagers and are on a mission to colonize an Earth-like planet about a 5-year journey away. Their expedition includes the sexy Major, Donald West, and the family consists of husband and wife, John and Maureen, as well as their children, Judy, Penny, and Will. But before their launch, their ship is sabotaged by Dr. Smith, an old queen who accidentally ends up on board, throwing the weight off of the ship and hurtling them towards an asteroid field where it's knocked off course and lost in deep space. This is why they charge an extra $100 if you're even 1 pound off of your luggage at Delta Airlines. The consequences of misweighted luggage are obviously dire. Basically, the show is about this crew and their adventures in space. In the first couple of seasons, they only visit like 2 different planets, but in season 3, they go to a bunch of different planets. Season 3, episode 23, The Great Vegetable Rebellion. This is my favorite episode. We open the episode aboard the ship with our favorite Robinson family. Space must be pretty cold because they're all dressed in velvet tracksuits. Apparently today is the robot's birthday. I'm pretty sure the crew just decided it was the robot's birthday as an excuse to make cake and get liquored up, since they're not the ones that built the robot, and I highly doubt the robot woke everyone up that morning like, "It's my birthday, bitches!"
It isn't much, but happy birthday anyway.
Thank you, Penny. To the best of my capabilities as a robot, I will try to be happy.
Now, Dr. Smith and the robot have a real will they, won't they, like Ross and Rachel thing going on. So Dr. Smith starts freaking out about getting the robot a birthday present. He has this stupid, weird excuse of like, "Oh, if I get the robot a present, he'll be so grateful he'll have to be my slave." And I don't think Dr. Smith has ever been to a birthday party.
Yes, I have it. Flowers. Real flowers. I shall give him red roses for his birthday. Birthday indeed. He won't be able to resist them, and he'll swear undying loyalty to me.
Dr. Smith decides fresh flowers are his best bet for the sentient mechanical robot and goes to bug John and Donald about it. They explain to Dr. Smith that they don't have enough fuel to land on the planet they're orbiting, but Dr. Smith decides to cause problems on purpose and takes a pod down to the planet. The planet is full of alien vegetation that, how do I put this delicately? It graphically moans when you touch or walk through it. And before the audience can get their bearings, a man dressed as a giant carrot lumbers into frame. The carrot is pissed at Dr. Smith because he's an anti-human carrot, so Dr. Smith flees and runs into a purple man in a lab coat. The guy's name is Willoughby, and he tells Dr. Smith that the carrot man saved his life and turned him into a half-human, half-lettuce hybrid. I'm not super sure how turning someone into a literal vegetable saves their life, but I'm also not sure where Carrot Man got his medical degree on pornographic plant planet, but these are just only some of the amazing mysteries that Lost in Space will never answer. The carrot catches up, and he really is pretty slow. I've seen carrots roll off my counter like way faster than this guy, and he asks Willoughby if Dr. Smith is a viable life form for plant transformation. Willoughby is like, not really, this guy is hella old. And the carrot is like, perfect, I'm going to turn him into a piece of celery. Back on the ship, everyone is worried about Dr. Smith, even though he's awful, and makes everyone's life miserable. They contact him through some sort of like sophisticated and futuristic technology, and when they get a hold of him, all he does is wax poetic about plant life. Donald is like, what the hell is up with this guy? He's sounding extra gay today.
You can cut out all that flowery talk and get right back here, unless you want to get left behind.
Oh, the folly of those who plant the seeds of threat in the soil of contentment.
Look, he's been a pain in the neck since the first day out. Complaining, lying, loafing, interfering. And now this boarder, who we never wanted in the first place, has found himself a new home. In the soil of contentment, no less. You want him back.
Now, Donald is making some very good points here. Why should they go rescue the man who contributes nothing and actively makes their lives worse? Well, because Daddy John said so. So we're off to the planet to save the guy everyone hates. Everyone but Will, the robot, and Judy go out in search of Dr. Smith, but not before grabbing a couple machetes from the ship. You know, because who doesn't have a machete on board their spaceship? The men use the machetes to uselessly hack at plants that are like a foot high and not in anyone's way at all. As the group stoically attempt to hide their arousal from the pornographic plants, a giant net falls on top of them. Instead of just like picking the net up from the bottom, they frantically claw at it like wild animals. Back on the ship, Judy, Will, and the robot are bored and venture out themselves, but not before grabbing their own machetes. You know, maybe there would be more room for extra fuel if there weren't so many machetes taking up space. Just a thought. They find Dr. Smith covered in plants and monologuing about how awesome it is to be a plant. The kids are like, okay, we don't have time for this. Robot, will you please do something about your boyfriend? And the robot is like, okay, I will just verbally berate him until he starts walking. I wish I could hire the robot as my personal trainer. The kids run into Willoughby the lettuce man, and he agrees to take them to the rest of the family, who are imprisoned in some sort of, like, electric cage thing. Penny faints, and I'm surprised no one has passed out sooner, seeing as this is a humid jungle planet and everyone is wearing head-to-toe velvet. The carrot pops by and reveals his master plan, which is he's going to turn them all into plants. They try to reason with Willoughby, who is such a complex character. On one hand, he is loyal to the carrot, and whether that's out of fear or respect, we'll never know. On the other hand, he tells the Robinsons there's a way to escape by messing with the hydraulic system beneath the trapdoor in the enclosure. Just like truly a fascinating character. John and Don start hacking at the ground with their machetes until they unveil the trapdoor. They head inside and just like bulldoze their way through the machinery with the same delicate finesse as with everything else they do in this episode. Checking in on Robot and Dr. Smith, they are still making their way back to the ship, and I have literally no idea how far away it's parked. At first I thought it was like half a mile away, but now it appears to be like a day's walk away, or the robot is just messing with Dr. Smith. The doctor is like, okay, I'm done walking. I'll just turn into a plant. I don't care. Which, like, mood. Robot needs some space, so he goes back to Judy and Will, and thank God he did because they are being attacked by some kind of, like, leaf monster with monster claws. Will wants to know why Robot abandoned Dr. Smith, and Robot is a real smart aleck about it. It actually kind of reminds me of how I used to talk to my boss when I worked at American Eagle.
What is a robot to do but obey?
The kids find Dr. Smith, and he is in full celery mode. Like, if RuPaul's Drag Race did an episode on vegetation, Dr. Smith would be serving looks. Willoughby is straight up eating Dr. Smith, which I find extremely disturbing and kinky, and Dr. Smith waxes more poetic about how awesome being a plant is, which leads me to my favorite line, where Will says,
Dr. Smith, you're acting like a real stalk of celery.
I'm sorry, but what? Real stalks of celery don't talk, Will. Will tells Judy to stay behind with Willoughby and Dr. Smith, but if I was Judy, I'd be like, no fracking way you're leaving me here alone with a purple lettuce man and Miss Celery Stalk. But Will and the robot find the carrot and company and try to reason with the carrot to let them all go. But the carrot cannot be reasoned with. Will commands the robot to attack, but the robot is like, oh no, I can't for some reason, like I'm so tired.
Why?
Robot!
It looks like the robot is just done, but like, it's his birthday for God's sake. The carrot realizes that the hydraulics are broken, or whatever, because he gets super thirsty and his vintage gas pump of water just isn't working anymore. The family escapes, but not before John brings the carrot this like little plastic bucket of water. The carrot is like, why would you help me? And John says my second favorite line in the episode.
Why?
It's a human instinct not to let anything or anyone die of thirst.
Yeah, that's not a thing. That's not an instinct thing. If it was, then explain to me why I forget to water every plant I ever buy. Dr. Smith is human again, and John offers a spot on the spaceship for Willoughby, but the lettuce man declines because the carrot is his true love all along. John is like, whatever, let's just get the hell off this stupid planet. Robot and Dr. Smith make up and walk back to the ship hand in hand. And that's the Great Vegetable Rebellion. There are definitely better Lost in Space episodes out there, like genuinely like good and scary episodes, but I don't care. This one is my favorite.